While you read this, meteorologists are warning that the worst may still be coming. Typhoon Matmo's fury continues as new evacuation orders prepare to displace millions more. A monstrous cyclone named Matmo descended upon China's southern regions with devastating power unprecedented in recent memory. Gusts exceeding 200 kilometers hourly demolished communities and settlements, obliterating structures and yanking ancient trees from the earth. Complete neighborhoods crumbled to dust in mere hours as the tempest arrived. Hainan's waterfront settlements confronted the catastrophe directly. Anchored vessels broke free, spinning wildly as massive swells hammered the coastline. Over 30 craft either overturned or disappeared, while sailors battled desperately against the maritime mayhem. Oceanic surges climbed 12 meters high, smashing defensive barriers and submerging whole residential areas. Reinforced walls shattered like fragile objects, and commerce zones along the waterfront vanished under relentless seawater torrents. Countless citizens evacuated toward higher ground. Precipitation intensified the catastrophe significantly. Just 10 hours brought over 520 millimeters of downpour, saturating waterways and dams beyond capacity. Agricultural lands submerged completely. Highway overpasses fractured from water pressure. Hillsides collapsed in fatal mudslides. Throughout Zhejiang, vehicles drifted helplessly along inundated boulevards, crashing together as though caught in swirling eddies. Guangzhou's vibrant thoroughfares transformed into raging waterways. Underground transit systems and tunnels flooded entirely, imprisoning travelers, while blackouts threw vast sections into pandemonium. Everyday citizens faced a brutal struggle for existence. Mothers and fathers held their youngsters tight, navigating waist-high currents while gripping cables and vertical surfaces for stability. Across numerous communities, people scrambled onto rooftops, fleeing the advancing deluge, signaling desperately for help. A frightened woman in Wuhan recounted when the disaster struck. Glass shattered everywhere. Floodwater exploded indoors, and the ceiling trembled as if about to detach. I seized my daughter and bolted. There wasn't a moment to consider, just react. Her account echoes the panic experienced by countless others. Medical facilities operated at maximum capacity as casualties flooded in. Injured people arrived with wounds from crumbling structures, airborne wreckage, and vehicular collisions on submerged roadways. Medical staff labored endlessly with scarce supplies, depending on emergency generators. While the tempest continued outside, vacationers in Sanya endured a horrific ordeal as accommodations flooded and power vanished. in blackness. They relied solely on mobile flashlights as water-penetrated doorways and overhead structures gave way. Numerous visitors remained isolated for extended periods before rescue personnel arrived. Online platforms overflowed with devastating footage. Residents dragging one another through fierce currents. Youngsters transported across turbulent waters on improvised flotation devices. And complete households clutching whatever fragments of their dwellings remained. These visuals displayed both the anguish and determination of disaster victims. Educational institutions, sports complexes, and civic structures became temporary refuges. Countless displaced individuals packed these facilities, bringing only salvaged possessions. Helpers passed out provisions, coverings, and potable water while frightened households hoped for protection throughout the turmoil. Yet the threat persists. Weather specialists caution that intense precipitation would persist throughout Guangdong, Guangxi, and Hunan provinces, creating risks of sudden deluge and earth collapses. Waterways have reached critical levels, and officials maintain heightened vigilance to avert additional catastrophe. 8 million residences, medical centers, learning institutions, and emergency facilities depended on auxiliary electricity.
Water, waving frantically for rescue.
Meanwhile, telecommunications infrastructure struggled, maintaining connectivity. Technicians labored continuously repairing destruction, though numerous zones stayed cut off. Specialists verify that Matmo represents the strongest weather system since 2013, powered by unusually elevated ocean temperatures that accelerated its rapid intensification. Officials announced a nationwide emergency status, advising citizens to remain vigilant and prepare for potential displacement directives in approaching days. This devastating cyclone Matmo has ravaged southern China residences, demolished municipalities submerged, and millions forced from homes. With continued precipitation and inundation approaching, the battle for survival continues.